All right, guys. So it is almost time to bring in the new year, but first I must leave something behind in 2024, and that is my top 10 list of my worst movies of the year. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really the type of like critic. I don't really consider myself to be a critic, but I'm not the type of like content creator that forces myself to watch all the like every movie that comes out in the year. So there are definitely a lot of movies. Like I didn't watch Borderlands. I didn't watch Argyle. I'm sure those movies would land on this list if I had seen them, but I just didn't bother. So there are definitely a couple of movies on this list that I don't think are like horrible, but they are in the top 10 worst movies that I personally watched. So with all that out of the way, let's get into my number 10. Red One is just kind of a nothing movie. It's basically an action Christmas movie. What if they kidnapped Santa Claus and Dwayne the Rock Johnson? He plays an elf. Haha, it's funny because he's big. Um, and then he teams up with Chris Evans and they go off to find Santa Claus, and it's just like, I mean, it really does just feel like the most Netflix movie to have ever Netflixed. It's not a Netflix movie, but it feels like a Netflix movie, and it's not horrible, but it's also not good. I didn't really feel much of anything while watching this movie, and the apathy that I felt towards it was enough to get on my top 10 worst movies of the year. All right. And at number 9, I have Back to Black. This is an Amy Winehouse biopic. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really know anything about Amy Winehouse. Just not a fan. Um, I think I just kind of wanted to go to the theaters one day, and it was just like, oh, I guess I'll watch this. Why not? And it is just the most generic biopic to have ever biopicked. It is truly the biopic of all time. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing like unique that it brings to the table. It's just like, whatever your generic biopic story, this is it. I'm sure that if you're an Amy Winehouse fan, there might be something here for you. There might be some things that I'm just not really able to appreciate. But I am who I am, and because of that, it landed at number 9. All right, at number 8, I have Trap. This is the latest film from M. Night Shyamalan. He is, of course, known for directing some classics like, uh, what's that movie called? Bruce Willis, superhero, not superhero movie. I am legitimately drawing a blank on M. Night Shyamalan's filmography. Either way, it doesn't matter. This movie sucks. I know it has its like fan base of people that like appreciate it for or some reason. And to be fair, there are things to appreciate about it. Like, Josh Hartnett, he does deliver like a really good performance. I do think that without his performance, like this would be way higher on this list, I would imagine. But he is good in it. But at the end of the day, it has an interesting premise of like, hey, there's a serial killer. Let's follow the perspective of the serial killer as like the police are hunting him down. But at every turn, this movie just insists on dealing with this premise in the most uninteresting way possible. It's like trying to have like twists and turns, and not even that twists and turns and like the M. Night Shyamalan like type of twists and turns. It's like him like outsmarting the police and whatnot, but it never feels smart. It never feels clever. It just feels absurd. And I don't know. Like I understand that people appreciate it from like a somewhat ironic perspective, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to get it. But yeah, that's my number 8. All right. At number 7, I have Mr. Crockett. Okay, this is like the one movie on this list I think that it didn't even get a theatrical release. It was like a straight to Hulu. I watched it on Disney Plus. Um, Here's the thing, a lot like Trap, there is some redeeming qualities to this movie. Like, or I guess I should explain what it's about. It's a horror movie about a TV show host, like a children's TV show host that kidnaps children when their children are like being abused by their parents. Although they're not all being abused by their parents, like some of them are just like it's like a parent will just like scold their child, and then he's like, "Uh oh, got to save this kid." But anyways, he kidnaps kids and whatnot, and yeah. So he's kind of like a paranormal force. He's not like an. It's not like a human being doing everything. Um, so a lot like Trap. The guy who plays Mr. Crockett is actually pretty good in the movie. Like, he's not the problem with the movie. It's literally everything else. It's like the script and the dialogue and the other performances around him are not particularly strong. And again, a lot like Trap, it's like the way that they go about, I don't know, like they kind of try to uncover the mystery of Mr. Crockett, and it never feels particularly intriguing or engrossing or scary for that matter. Like the movie's not particularly scary, with the exception of again the performance of the actor playing Mr. Crockett. Sometimes I think in a better movie would come off as actually pretty creepy, but then it's I don't know, it's not directed or executed well, so that even the intensity falls to the wayside. So to be fair, it is a straight to Hulu movie, but it is a movie that I watched in 2024, so it's on this list. All right. At number 6, Mufasa the Lion King. Yeah, I hate this kind of. I kind of struggled, like, do I put it higher on this list? Because it is kind of like Back to Black and Red One, where it's like it's not necessarily like objectively speaking, it's not like the worst thing ever made, but there is something to the soullessness of this film. Like, at least when I'm watching like a Red One, like I do think that The Rock cares about what he's doing. Like I think he's trying to make a fun action movie. There is there is something about this live action Lion King like remake stuff that's going on here that genuinely just triggers me. Like there is something about this that feels especially soulless. There is something about the fact that Barry Jenkins is directing this, and I don't think he gave even a single shit about this. There's something that where like there is nothing here to grab onto. Nothing whatsoever. The photorealistic lions suck. There's no emotion to be gleaned from their faces. It's I don't know, man. There is something about these movies that I just can't stand. So, anyways, it's on this list. It's number 6. All right. At number 5, we have Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire. I don't know, man. You know what's kind of interesting? Like, I just this year watched all of the Ghostbusters movies, and I don't get the appeal of this franchise. It's like, I don't know, like the first 2 movies are like whatever movies. I don't understand how they became like these classic movies that now Hollywood is trying to rape and pillage all these years later. And it's like we get to Frozen Empire and it's like there is just nothing here. There's nothing to mine. There is nothing valuable to turn into an interesting story. It is just like desperation on display. Like Sony is just desperately trying to do whatever the fuck they can possibly think of with the Ghostbusters IP, and it's just not working. Well, to be fair, it might be working financially. I'm not really sure, but in terms of the artistic viability of these projects, I don't care. And yeah, this is ass, asinine. It's just ass. But you know what? Ernie Hudson is looking great. You know what I mean? Not gonna say compared to Bill Murray, but compared to Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson's looking great. All right. And number 4. All right, now we're really getting into it. You know, I was like, like the next 3 movies, honestly, are just like kind of the same thing, but they are 3 individual movies that came out this year, so I wasn't gonna just not put them here. But I mean, they're 3 movies that just had to be here. And number 4, yeah, you'll be able to guess the other 2. Madame Web. Now, I will say this about Madame Web. I do genuinely love this film. I think that it is the room of comic book movies. It is so absurd. It is so asinine. Like, every 5 seconds, there is something funny that happens. Like, every 5 seconds, you'll have, like, a weird scene where, like, Dakota Johnson... or not every 5 seconds, but every 5 minutes, there'll be like a weird scene where Dakota Johnson is just like refusing to open up a can of Pepsi. She's like fondling it with her fingers and she just refuses to open it up. And then 5 minutes later, you'll have like the villain speaking, but it's like horribly ADR'd and his lips aren't moving. 5 minutes later, there are fucking spider people in the jungle crawling through the trees. It's like, I kind of love this movie. That being said, it is horrible. It is one of the most asinine movies of the year. Sony, what are you doing? Now listen, if all your movies turned out like Madame Web, then I would at least appreciate it. But unfortunately, at number 3, I have Venom: The Last Dance. I don't get the Venom movies. I understand that they have an audience. These are by far the most successful movies that Sony has going on. But I don't get it. I don't find the Venom humor funny. I don't care about the Venom and Eddie dynamic. It's just stupid and not in a good way. And Venom 3, I think especially, just it felt the movie where they were least trying. Because at least with like the Venom and Venom 2, I think I could see what they were trying to do. But we get to this and it's just like the scene where like Venom is there in Vegas and Venom is like, I wanna gamble. Oh, I wanna dance with Miss Lynn or whatever her name is. It's like, ugh, like what is happening? That god awful like parent or like family subplot where they're on the road trip with the parents. That was awful. The villains in this are not even villains. It's like the villain is literally like the villains of this movie are just teases of a big bad, which is just pathetic. I don't know, like the side characters in this, these 2 that were just on the screen, just not good. They're like trying to set up that lady that just appeared on the screen to be like the next Venom, and it's like nobody's gonna care about that. I don't like this. It just sucks. This shit sucks. Sony needs to stop. Enough said. All right. At number 2, what could it possibly be? Kraven the Hunting Boy. Yeah, this is, I mean, again, it's literally the same as Venom. It's just pathetic. Like, it just sucks. There's like, Sony clearly has no idea what they're doing with these movies. They're not going out and getting like talented screenwriters to actually like, who are like passionate about Marvel and Spider-Man, who might actually have interesting ideas. and execution for what a Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe could potentially look like. But I guess even just saying what I'm saying, like, is this even an idea worth pursuing? And the answer is probably no. But yeah, Kraven the Hunter is just pathetic. It's bland. It's terrible performances. Weird. Like, first quarter of the movie is a fucking flashback. The action is fine sometimes, but even other times not really. The Rhino is horrible. I will say, there is one hilarious scene. There is one scene in this movie that is Madam Web worthy, and it is the scene when the Rhino thinks that he killed Kraven, and his henchman tells him that Kraven is actually alive, and he's like standing at the counter like this, and he doesn't react when he gets told this information. He goes like that. He just stays still for 5 seconds. Ah! That scene was awesome. But unfortunately, that's the only Madam Web worthy scene in the movie. Everything else is just ass. So here we are. I mean, we just went for a three-peat, right? 3 movies in a row that are some of the worst of what Hollywood has to offer. What could possibly be at number 1? What could possibly be worse? What could possibly be more pathetic? What could possibly be more egregious than the Sunk, the Sony universe of Marvel characters? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that would be Night Swim. The movie about the haunted pool. Blumhouse is so they are so egregiously open to whatever. They are so just not caring about anything. They said, "Hey, here's $5. Go make a movie about a pool." About a haunted pool. And it's like, this could maybe be a concept that you could at least do something interesting with. What am I saying? Not, like, this is no, it's stupid. But either way, like, they don't ever do anything interesting with it. It's just, oh no, the lights are turning on and off. Oh, somebody grabbed my leg, my foot. Oh no, I'm being pulled under. Oh, this is scary. Oh no, it's a haunted pool. Oh, it's just pathetic. That being said, it probably literally cost like $5, and they probably made money on it because that is the nature of horror. But yeah, it sucks. They never do anything interesting with the concept of the pool. The performances suck. It's just not good. Either way, those are the top 10 worst movies that I watched in the year. If you want to hear about some good movies, go watch my top 10 of the year, my actual top 10. What am I supposed to call this? I don't say people don't call these lists bottom 10 of the year, right? You know, they say top 10 worst movies of the year. That's how that is how it's said. Either way, go watch my top 10 best if you want some good movies. And yeah, goodbye 2024 until I do my ranking of all the comic book movies and TV show. That is another video that I do, but I can't do it until next week because I have to wait for Creature Commandos to end. So this is still my goodbye to the year. Goodbye.